Hey everyone, welcome to the Dare to Care podcast, the podcast where we talk about the inner workings of ministry at Inspire Family Fellowship and community stories within the church. If you have any comments, stories, or questions about Inspire or our Dare to Care ministries at any point during our podcast today, feel free to send those questions to amy@inspirefamily.org. We also invite you to join us in person at Inspire any Sunday that you're able, 523 North 21st Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Our Sunday services are at 9:15 and 10:45. We also have Wednesday programming available most Wednesdays the rest of the semester. We do a meal at 5, classes for all ages at 6, and services at 7. My name's Ty Farnsworth. I'm the worship coordinator here at Inspire Family Fellowship, joined today by a couple of special guests. I have Kristi Voeller and DeAnn Fylling from MOMCO, and I have to be very careful that I'm calling it MOMCO. DeAnn, do you want to explain the backstory to MOMCO and why I can never remember the title of it?
I would love to. First, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
MOMCO is something that has been very special and a very important part of my life for the last 12 years since I was pregnant with my second daughter. And so most people know it as MOPS. It was founded in 1973, and it is a global organization. So that's kind of cool. We're part of this really big global sisterhood of moms. But about 2 years ago, they changed the name on us, and they changed it to MOMCO. We still call it MOPS from time to time because old habits die hard. But they had all these different segments or chapters of MOPS. There was MOPS, and MOPS is an acronym, by the way. It stands for Mothers of Preschoolers. And there were a lot of people really getting honed in on that detail, like what's a preschooler? Okay, I can only go to MOPS if I have a kid ages 3 to 5, because that in America is what a preschooler is. And so they had MOPS, and they had MOPS, military MOPS, and they had teen MOPS, and they had Moms Next. Moms Next, yes, for the older of us. Once your kid hit kindergarten, you got booted out of MOPS, and then you could only be in Moms Next. So they just wanted to make it a more broadly inclusive group of moms. And so they kind of battled around for a while with what should we call it next. Sure. And ultimately, they wanted it to be a community place where moms could come and feel seen and loved and just belong to a community. So
sure.
MOMCO.
Well, you've kind of answered my main question, and I guess I'll turn that to you, Kristi. Obviously, neither of your kids are in preschool anymore.
Correct.
And so let's start with you. How did you get involved in what is now MOMCO?
Well, I knew about it years ago before I was even married, had kids or anything. I had been at a school and a church that had the program, so I was a little familiar with it. And I always thought it was a great program, and someday when I have kids, I'll join a group. And when my oldest, who's now 13, when she was 1 year old, I sought out a group and joined, and I've not left since.
Wow. And you guys meet Wednesdays? Is that every Wednesday for the semester?
Every other Wednesday.
Okay.
And then very similar to Ignite here, actually. We usually wait a couple weeks after the school year starts, kind of layer it in. You know, there's a lot of things happening at the beginning of the year, but we have 8 meetings in the fall and 8 meetings in the semester every other week.
Sure. So same question to you. How did you start to get involved with MOPS and now MOMCO?
Yeah, when I started, I was pregnant with my second. I had just quit my full-time job, knowing that I was going to stay at home. And we were at church one day, and my husband said, "Here, you should maybe check this out." There was a little flyer in the program. And my immediate reaction, quite honestly, was, that's not going to be my thing. I am not a sourdough mom. I'm not that's maybe not going to be the place where I meet friends. But my husband was really encouraging. He said, "Why don't you just give it a shot? And if it doesn't work, if you don't like it, you don't have to go." And so sure enough, that's when I started my MOPS at that time, MOPS journey. And then I became involved with leadership after a couple years. And the rest is history, I guess.
Sure. Both of you can answer this. What does it look like on a Wednesday for a typical MOMCO meeting or gathering or whatever you guys call what you do here on Wednesdays? What does it look like for a mom coming in with a preschooler or with a child that are looking for a little extra support?
You want me to start?
Sure.
Okay, I'll start and you can add whatever I miss. But every meeting looks different. So some meetings, the bulk of our meeting is a video with some discussion questions. Sometimes we have a speaker. Sometimes we have a big community service project. Sometimes we have creative activities. We have a lot of different things going on. But kind of the bare bones of each meeting, the moms who come with children will drop their children off at KidCo, which used to be called MOPS, so that's another acronym change. But they'll drop their kiddos off at KidCo, and then they'll come in. And usually we have a ministry table who brings food, who's assigned food each week. So they'll go through the food line, sit down, and we have about 15 minutes, give or take, of kind of just connection time and, how are things going. And then we get into the bulk of our meeting, whatever that might be. This year we have implemented a Bible devotion time. So it's the same gal that's doing it all year, but she does like a 10 to 12 minute devotion each week, which is, we've done that intermittently in the past, and now that'll be something more streamlined this year that we'll do every meeting. So we're all really excited about that. It was awesome. Last week was our first meeting. And then we always end the meeting with blessings and challenges, and that's kind of our designated prayer time where we'll go around the tables and just share kind of the joys and the challenges of, motherhood amongst many other things.
Sure.
What did I miss, Kristi?
Yeah.
Spread out throughout each semester, we also incorporate some social opportunities, which actually are outside of MOPS. So we get moms, I said it too, MOPS, outside of MomCo meetings. So we might have just get together at a restaurant and meet for dinner and just to get a mom's night out without our kids, which is also a welcome opportunity for many of us. And we also, into some of our meetings, to incorporate some service projects. At Christmas time, we just have everybody brings like a dozen cookies or a dozen candies or some type of thing, and then we mix them all together and make up assorted cookie trays, and then those get delivered out to places like the fire stations, police stations, Heaven's Helpers, different organizations around town. That's our way of saying thank you to them.
Sure. So how would you describe it to someone coming in? Is it kind of a daycare ministry with Bible studies for the moms, or?
It is really hard to explain. Yeah.
Because having watched you guys, I kind of know what's going on, but I'm just curious if you have a better, just direct explanation of what you guys do and what the kids do during your meetings and that sort of thing. Yeah.
When people email or when somebody says, "Oh, I've got this friend who's interested in MomCo, can you send her the informational email?" I kind of have an email that I try to explain it concisely, and it's a kind of long email, even though I'm trying to just give them the bare bones. But I always say it is a fellowship group for moms. Like our common bond is motherhood. That's the only common bond we have. And we don't call it a Bible study. Nobody's ever going home from MomCo with like any level of homework of any sort. But it's connection time in a Christian environment. People will often ask me, like, do I have to go to your church? Do I have to be a Christian? Do I have to, like, are there any prerequisites? Are there any check boxes? And I always try to make sure that people know that they belong here, whether or not they go to this church, whether or not they're a Christian. We do have a couple of unchurched moms, which is awesome. God just plants seeds in a lot of different ways, and his provision is just always there. I'm doing a lot of the planning and leadership stuff, and it's really fun to watch God work in a lot of different ways. But Christian fellowship mom group, I always say, like, meetings vary from meeting to meeting. So, like, if you didn't like what we did last week, like, don't just quit. It might be different next week. Moms get a break from their kids, which for a lot of moms, I don't want to say all stay-at-home moms feel like isolated or lonely, but like isolated and lonely are two words that a lot of people would use to describe their stay-at-home momming. And so this just is a community where they get a break, they get away, they get a little bit of adult connection time in a Christian environment. There's always breakfast. Who doesn't love a warm breakfast and break? Yeah,
well, exactly.
And coffee that you actually eat when it's hot. Usually,
and coffee you can drink when it's hot.
So is this are you guys isolated to Inspire, or are there multiple MomCo groups around town? How?
I had to look this up. So there is one other like MomCo branded group. I think there are some other like mom groups in town, whether they take on the MomCo branding or not. It's still like mom connection groups exist kind of all over the place, but MomCo exists in 110 countries, wow, which is just wild to me. that's like such a cool statistic to me. And yeah, it's been around since 1973, and it started as just like a little MOPS group meetup in somewhere in Colorado, and it's expanded like that far. They've got the whole curriculum translated into 300 some languages, and so it's really become like a global thing.
Sure.
There's one other MomCo group in town called the Busy MomCo, and I believe they meet on Tuesday mornings and just once a month versus every other week. That's the only other one that I'm aware of right now. Kristi actually started, you can kind of share your journey about.
Yeah, I actually started out at another church over at Evangel, and I ended up over here at Inspire's group when Evangel ended up just discontinuing the program at their church. So I started coming over here because it was just a really important connection for me, because I just really appreciated the bonding and the fellowship with the other moms, and I didn't really get that other places. So I wanted to continue that, and as a result, our family ended up joining Inspire just because of our connection here with MomCo.
Very cool. It's one of those we give to you guys. I think we just gave to you this month as part of our monthly tithing, and it's one of those, but not one of those. We always stress, if you have a ministry that you want here at Inspire and want us to help support, we are more than willing to do so, even if it doesn't result in, like you said, you came from an outside church, came here, and you started coming to Inspire because of what MomCo did for you. And I've been watching you guys do this for years now. Next year, my wife will be a mother of a preschooler, and was really excited to know that we had this option at Inspire. My question from there, I guess, is, is there a limit to the ages of the kids involved? What kind of do they do while you guys are doing your devotional meetings?
So the answer now is no, there's not a limit. Since the organization became MomCo, they kind of got rid of the idea that you have to have a kid of a certain age to be a part of a certain group. So as it was before with MOPS, once your youngest graduated from kindergarten, you were like, they would nicely say, "You've graduated, congratulations," and then they would like kick you out the door and you couldn't come back, and it was like, dude, where all my friends are there? Now that was like part of the whole shift into MomCo, is they wanted moms to be able to gather in community regardless of their age or the ages of their children, and so now we have moms ages 24 to early 50s. We've got some mentor moms that sit with the younger women. Like we have table groups kind of based on the ages of kids.
Sure.
Right. So that the conversation flows smoothly at those tables. But those ladies have mentor moms. So there is not an age range. We provide childcare up to from ages 1 to 6. So the little ones sit on their mom's lap in the fellowship hall, and then ages 1 to 6, and sometimes we make exceptions for like homeschool families, but they go to childcare, and we don't have a curriculum in childcare. That's mostly just a lack of, we don't have a lot of volunteers that are excited about leading a curriculum. So we're somewhere between keep them alive and preschool curriculum. But yeah, we have great volunteers, and there's some adult volunteers as well as older homeschool kids. And I say volunteers, but we do pay them. And so it's that is a big part of Inspire, is very generous with their tithing, and a large portion of that budget goes back to childcare to get moms the break, and then we try to tithe back, and I think if I figured that out, it would be a lot more than 10% that we give back to the community, because community service is something we take pretty seriously too.
Sure.
So
Pastor Rob couldn't be here today. He's out of town as we're recording this, but he had a question that I'm going to echo. Obviously, it's changed with the acronym changing, but I'll start with you. Why do you continue with MomCo? What does this mean to you? Obviously, now that your kids are out of the age that it was designed for, why do you continue as mentor moms, as in the roles that you do?
I just love the fellowship that I've found with the other ladies, and because we do have, my kids are 9 and 13 now, and because we do have the opportunity to have some moms with kids with older ages, it's just great to be able to sit down face to face with people who are fairly like-minded as I am, and just bounce. I mean, sometimes we just tell silly stories of what our kids did. Sometimes it's a serious, like, gosh, I'm really struggling with this issue with my 13-year-old. Anybody have any advice? Or maybe we discuss our spouses, or, I just appreciate being able to have that opportunity face to face. We have so much social media. Like, a lot of my friends were on social media, but it's not the same as that face to face. Have a conversation. Yeah, just that one, small group mentality.
Sure.
Yeah, some things change and others just stay the same. And I remember so clearly talking about, like, my kid just won't sleep. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm at the end of my rope. I'm exhausted. I remember that so clearly, even though it was 8, 9, 10 years ago. And now the conversations have shifted. At our table, we're talking about, like, gosh, my teenager is really challenging. And like, now I'm not really sure, like, what do you guys do when you have, and we can, like she said, like, just really bounce a lot of ideas off of each other. And I think for me, I have noticed, particularly in the last 3 to 4 years, that when the group of women that I call, like, my best friends now, a lot of them are from MOPS, that we've continued in MomCo now together. But we started off as friends in this stage of life where we were celebrating a lot of beginning of life, and we were celebrating new babies, and we were bringing each other meals when somebody had a new baby. Now we have shifted to an age where we are going to our parents' funerals together, and we are bringing meals to somebody because their mom or dad just passed away. And so we've experienced just such a wide variety of seasons. And that's not something, when I joined MOPS 12 years ago, that's not something I ever envisioned happening. And it's really neat to just see how those friendships have blossomed and grown over the years, to just more than, like, your table talk, like, what size shoes do you wear? Like, well, why does that matter? Sure. But yeah.
And just, it's just, there's just a bond that, not every year, every table group forms the bonds, but over the years, I've had some that have just been amazing, and one year I just was sharing, gosh, I am, like, overloaded with, I have company coming, and I have this and this and this and this, and I don't know when I'm going to have time to even clean my house. And within a week, I had probably 4 or 5 ladies at my house cleaning out closets, cleaning out my kids, like, organizing my kids' rooms. And they did for me in one day what I could not probably have gotten done in a month. And it was, wow. I didn't ask them, like, hey, could somebody come help me? They just were like, hey, we want to help you. And it was amazing.
Wow. It's, like I said, as someone whose wife is kind of going through the challenges that you have expressed with a lot of the things that people in MomCo are going through, it's awesome to see that we have this support group, not just in our community, but here at Inspire, and how easy it is to see and how easy it is to join. If someone is interested in joining, what's the process of who do they contact? Who do they get a hold of? That sort of thing.
So I'm currently the coordinator, and they can email inspiremops@hotmail.com. I didn't try to, like, get that changed because it's just really easy to remember. Or if it's somebody from church or whatever, they can reach out to me. But I have a stock email that kind of has all the information in it that I can shoot out pretty much within about 5 minutes at any point in time, and get them just kind of all the basic information.
Sure.
Yep. I was going to share I have my phone here to share the official mission statement of MomCo, because I like how concise it is and how how they just narrow it down. MomCo encourages and equips moms of young children to realize their potential as mothers, women, and leaders in relationship with Jesus and in partnership with local churches. And I think it's really cool. Every time somebody stands up at church and says we take that middle word on the wall very seriously, Inspire Family Fellowship, that's true. That's true. And that's not ever just somebody saying that. And I remember the very first time I met with Pastor Randy and Tim, and I said, hey, like, I'd really like to move our MOPS group here. Here's all the reasons why. And also, this is what kind of money we need in order to, like, make this group run. And they both looked at me and they were like, yeah, when do you start? There were no questions. And I remember, well, I mean, they had questions, but I remember Pastor Randy saying, like, this is a perfect organization for Inspire Family Fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is just so such a place where women can belong.
Sure.
And
It's something we always
Come.
stress. Apart from leading people to Jesus, our mission at this place is to help families win. And I see that with everything that you guys do in Momco. And every time I walk in on a Wednesday and I see you guys in there, I just, it brightens my day just to see how active this place is in so many people's lives and the things that you're doing for these mothers and these children and these families. And it's really awesome. So
yeah.
do you guys mind if I pray?
No,
And we
please do.
close today.
Great.
So Father, thank you so much for these two incredible, not just members of Inspire, but women who go out and inspire other women in the community. God bless everything that is happening here with Momco, all the mothers, all the families, all the children that are touched by the ministry that is provided. We just continue to lift up families in whatever shape they're in. We give everything to you. We want people led to you in any possible way that we can do that here at Inspire. Continue to just bring joy into the hearts of all the people that come into this building. Help to inspire these people to continue doing what they're doing, to go forward and bless generations of mothers and generations of children as we go forward in this place. It's in your mighty name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So you said Inspire MOPS at hotmail.com?
You got it.
Okay, perfect. If you guys have other questions about Momco, feel free to direct them to me or Amy, ty@inspirefamily.org or amy@inspirefamily.org. Otherwise, come join us in person. Sunday services, 9:15 and 10:45. Wednesday services, like I said, are at 7. Or every other Wednesday for Momco. What time do you guys start meeting?
9 to 11.
9 to 11.
Yep.
So feel
October
free
1st is our next Momco meetup.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you,
We'll
Ty.
see you guys next Thursday.